Okay, our review for this lesson is all about solving equations. And just like our lesson, these equations are going to get progressively more complicated. 1 and 2 are examples of one-step equations. 3 and 4 are examples of two-step equations. 5 and 6 are examples of multi-step equations. You want to make sure you've got your calculator in hand so that you can get some of this math done pretty easily, but let's go ahead and dive into number 1. So how do we know it's a one-step equation? Well, when we're looking at this equation, we've got f minus 63 on one side of the equal sign. There's only one thing that's happening, that's subtraction. So when there's only one thing that's happening with the letter, that means it's a one-step equation. So to undo a one-step equation or to solve a one-step equation, we look at what is happening on the same side as the letter. So we have the letter F and we're subtracting 63. We want to do the opposite of that subtracting 63. The opposite is adding 63. So we are going to add 63 on the left side, and that's canceling out, right? But remember our terminology, we cancel out and we balance. And to balance, all that means is we do that same extra math on the other side of the equal sign. So we have a 98 and we can add 63 to that 98. So again, back to the left side, when we subtracted 63 and then added 63, that canceled out that minus 63. And that just leaves us with our letter F. But now we need to do 98 plus 63 on your calculator or in your head, doesn't matter to me, and that's going to give us 161. Same concept with question number 2. We find our letter. In this one, the letter is K, and K and 108 are being added together. That's the only thing that's happening on that side of the equal sign with the letter K. So one thing happening, addition, means it's a one-step equation. But remember, with addition, we can move our terms around on one side of the equal sign. So if that 108 plus k is a little hard for your brain to understand, rewrite that as k plus 108 equals 224. Because remember, addition gives us the freedom of moving parts around on one side of the equal sign. We just switch their places. So now we can see we are adding 108 to k. To cancel that out, we need to do the opposite of adding 108, which is subtracting 108. So that's our cancel out. But remember, we need to do our balance also, which means on the other side of the equal sign, we are subtracting 108 as well. So on back to the left-hand side, adding 108 and then subtracting 108 canceled that plus 108 out and just left us with the letter K. Then we grab our calculators, 224 minus 108, and that gives us 116. So those are our one-step equations. We only have to do one extra math thing. Now we have to do it on both sides of the equal sign because it's a cancel out and a balance, but it's just that one thing. Now when we look at number 3, it starts to look a little bit different. We find our letter. In number 3, our letter is X. It's on the left-hand side, and it's getting multiplied with a 4, and then a 2 is getting subtracted from it. There are two things on that side of the equation that need to happen, which means there's two things that we need to undo. So this is a two-step equation. Remember, with a two-step equation, we find the letter, But then we find the number that's on the same side of the equation, but is not side by side with the letter. We're looking for that constant, and that's the thing we're going to get rid of first. So in number 3, the constant is a -2. How do we get rid of a -2? We add 2. So there's going to be our canceling out, and then we need to add 2 to balance. So that adding 2 made that -2 go away. We have 4x equals 24. Now we need to undo this 4 times x, this multiplication. And our opposite of multiplication, remember, is division. So 4x divided by 4 is how we cancel out those 4's and we just get our x. But we can't just do it on one side, right? Because we cancel out and we balance. And 24 divided by 4 is going to give us 6. Okay, number 4. It's another two-step equation because we find our letter, and in this case it's A, and there's two things that are happening. A is getting multiplied by 5, and we're adding 7. So we're looking for that constant to be the first thing we get rid of. We find the A, then we find the number that's on the same side of the equal sign as the A is, but is not directly attached to the A, and that would be our 7. So to get rid of a +7, we need to subtract 7. And that's going to make that +7 go away, and we're going to have 5a. But we can't just cancel out, right? We have to cancel out and balance. So we need to subtract 7 on the other side. 37 minus 7 gives us 30. Now we've got a 5 times a equals 30, so we need to cancel out that times. Remember, the opposite of times is dividing, and we're going to divide by the thing we want to get rid of. So we're going to divide by a number. We want to get rid of that 5, so we're going to divide by that 5. That's going to give us our letter A, but we can't just cancel out. We have to cancel out and balance. So the same math on the right-hand side. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Oh, answer was 6 for both of those. I didn't even mean for that to happen. Okay. All right, so those are two-step equations. Now we're getting into multi-step equations, and that's when we have that phrase, don't call me after midnight. And that don't, remember, stands for distribute. Call stands for combine like terms. Then we look and see if there are any things we need to move. Are there terms with letters on both sides of the equal sign? Then after that, we're basically into two-step equations. We're going to add or subtract, and then we're going to multiply or divide to finish it out. So we look at number 5. Remember, we have to ask ourselves about all of these steps, but we may not have to do all of these steps. So for number 5, we don't have to distribute. There are no multiplication parentheses that we need to take care of. We don't have to combine. We do have a 4t and a 2t, but right now they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. So we actually need to move. We need to move this 2t to the other side of the equal sign. And remember, when you do a move from one side to the other, you are changing the sign. So this positive 2t now is going to be a negative 2t, and we're going to write it like a subtraction problem. Then we're going to have -5 equals 5. And now that we've moved, we can do some combining, right? That 4t minus 2t gives us a 2t minus 5 equals 5, because we kept the t and then we did the math with the numbers. 4 minus 2 gives us our new 2. Now we're at a two-step equation. We've got t being multiplied by 2 and then subtracting 5. So in a two-step equation, remember, we're looking for the constant. That's the first thing we want to cancel out. So we cancel out that -5 with a +5. And then we do a +5 over here. So that's going to give us 2t equals 10. Then we need to cancel out that 2 times t. And to cancel out a 2 times t, we're going to divide. So remember, we're putting down here the number we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of a 2. And that's going to give us t equals 5. Okay. Number 6, multi-step equation. So we got to go through. Don't call me after midnight. And in number 6, we do need to distribute. We have this math problem where we've got one number on the outside and an expression on the inside. So we need to do 2 times x and then 2 times -2, which is a -4. And then the other can just come straight down. Then right now, there's nothing we can combine, but we do recognize that we've got a 2x and a 4x on either side of the equal sign. So we're going to have to move one of those x's to the other side. And it doesn't matter which one you do, but a lot of times we like our letter to be on the left-hand side. So we're going to take this 4x, we're going to move it over here. And remember, when we move across the equal sign, we change sign. So this positive 4x is now going to become a -4x. And that -2 now just sits there as a -2. Okay, 2x minus 4x, the x stays, and we say 2 minus 4, that gives us a -2. Then this -4 is just coming straight down. This -2 is just coming straight down. And now we're at a 2-step equation. So we're going to cancel out our constant. Find your constant for me. Yep, -4. And to cancel it out, we're going to add 4, which means we're going to add 4 over here. -2x equals -2 plus 4 is a +2. And then we need to undo this -2 times x. So remember, to undo multiplication, we do division. We want to get rid of the number. The number's -2, so that's what we're dividing by on both sides. And that's going to give us x equals -1. So just like our lesson, we kept getting a little bit more involved. 1 and 2 were those one-step equations. 3 and 4 were those two-step equations. 5 and 6 were those multi-step equations. And guys, if 5 and 6 were a little bit of a struggle, that is just fine. But we really want to get to the point before you take the test that things like 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can do almost instinctively, that you can remember how to solve 1 and 2-step equations, and you can explain it and you can analyze it, because those 1 and 2-step equations are all over the test. The multi-step equations are there a little bit, but not as much as the 1 and 2 steps. So keep focusing in here and making sure you become pros at those 1 and 2-step equations, and then keep working on the multi-steps and you'll get there. I'm here if you need me.